Eye opener? Who'll stop the rain? The short answer to the question posed in the title is no one but us. A more thorough answer would be we must come together to get rid of the malicious actors who create doubt, promote propaganda, sow hatred and division, while pushing for an artificial scarcity that will lead to the mass murder of those they seek to control. Further dissection of the response to this question would point to elected officials of whom the majority of populations around the world mistakenly believe act in their best interests. The truth is out there and is made easily available to anyone willing to do simple math. When one looks closely, almost all, if not all, of the biggest problems we face today can be traced back to an inequitable distribution of wealth and resources. When the Prince of Saudi Arabia seeks to build a 2-kilometer high skyscraper in which other wealthy people can sequester themselves from the rest of society, this is problematic for everyone not living in said skyscraper. The irony is that such ideas have been the premise for so many dystopian science fiction movies and books. Soylent Green, a movie starring Charlton Heston, depicted a future in which the masses were unknowingly made to eat wafers manufactured from dead people. In that movie, all it took for the rich and powerful to impose cannibalism on the populace was for the populace to bury its collective head in the sand. While I'm not suggesting that our contemporaries are making us eat one another, I am emphatically stating that they are making us eat ourselves to death. When food contains half the nutrition it contained years ago, but costs more than twice as much, our lack of information in this regard can be the only reason we accept such outcomes. When a lifelong commitment to a product like Ozempic supersedes a lifelong commitment to better nutrition and physical fitness, ignorance must play a significant role. Whether it's in the advertisements that promote obesity as body positivity or the obfuscation of facts that hide the detrimental impacts of processed food, it matters little to the victims of such actions. Dead is dead. Life, however, has shades of gray. One can age gracefully, or one can require medical procedures like dialysis or amputation for advanced stages of diabetes. One can walk a mile or two a day or get a stent placed in their circulatory system. One can demand more research into the impacts of environment degradation on the health of a population, or simply accept increased rates of heart disease, cancer, autism, and more. You get the picture. The people, need to be more vigilant, because without vigilance, outcomes as speculated in books like George Orwell's 1984 are more likely than not. When ignorance about the world in which you live persists, a 34-kilometer building in the desert called the Line becomes the goal. While this may favor the rich, how could it ever benefit the majority of us? And ever for the rich person who can afford to live in the Line AL, is trusting Mohammed bin Salman the most rational choice? Let's remember that he allegedly ordered the torture, murder, and dismemberment of a reporter in the Saudi Arabian consulate in Turkey. If that was possible in a city in another country, imagine how easy it would be to make someone disappear from a 34-kilometer city in the desert. And this type of ambition is not limited to the crown princes of Saudi Arabia. The rich are stockpiling resources all over the planet in preparation for an actual or perceived Armageddon. These people not only won't stop the harm their excessive wealth will lead to, but I honestly believe that they can't stop themselves. The reason being that in capitalism you are either growing or dying. Whether a mega corporation or an individual, if your wealth is not increasing, it is decreasing. For the mega corporation, you must constantly increase your profits so you can devour your competition. If you don't, your competition will devour you. As for the individual, your wealth must continually keep pace with or exceed the rate of inflation. If not, your wealth is diminished daily. What you can afford today becomes out of reach tomorrow. Whether it's a luxury or a necessity. To find out other ways you're being screwed by your current leaders, check out the posts on this blog daily. Learn about the biggest and worst issues that America and its people face today. You can also check in to hear about those issues that America and its people will face in the near and distant future. If, however, you would like to discover possible solutions to either mitigate the worst impacts of these issues or solutions to avoid them altogether, keep listening. The problems we face are not as complicated as so many leaders and news reports claim. They are man-made and are only claimed as complicated so those who are responsible can maintain control. For example, there is a persistent argument that moving government is like turning a cruise ship around. It is supposedly a long process that can only be achieved incrementally. While this may be true for laws and policies that benefit the majority of Americans, it does not seem to be so for that smallest of American minorities. When one examines the policies and laws that benefit that minority known as the elite or the rich, the speed at which those laws are passed is exponentially faster. While most of us sit on the deck chairs waiting for the Titanic to avoid the myriad of icebergs of which we seem to continually run afoul, the elite ride comfortably in speedboats. If, according to our Constitution, all men are created equal, why do the rich live quite different lives than the rest of us? Where is our speedboat? In 2018, Chris Osman wrote a book highlighting the problems humanity would face if more power, wealth, and control were funneled to a small group of individuals, groups, or organizations. In that book, Mr. Osman provided solutions, from himself and others, to the inevitable problems we would all face. In it, he also provided a means for the public to analyze, compare, and contrast the words and deeds of those we've chosen to follow against our real-world experiences. To this end, Mr. Osman provides the means for readers to disseminate information as provided by their news sources of choice, their elected officials, and any other authority they choose to follow. The book, titled Solutions, Enough Complaining, Let's Fix America, offers a means to hold leaders up, not just to a higher standard than is currently accepted, but to one that will improve lives. It's raining cants and don'ts. Get out of the rain. Click the link below and get your copy today.